And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I'm net control. If any time during this broadcast should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today we're currently featuring over 3,200 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher level of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically, And in addition, we're running our newer number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our NO-SWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami, with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, with all that being said, let's open it up and see who's out there. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KN4DDD, Kilo November 4 Delta Delta Delta.
All right, Delta Delta Delta. Hang on just a minute. I'm trying to get set up on my my bookwork here. Okay, Delta Delta Delta. What's the preamble to that call sign?
Delta Delta. What's the preamble to that call sign? Roger, there's some QRM area on the frequency, but you got the call sign right. The name is Dennis, location Virginia Beach. Over to you, KC9 Victor Kilo Victor. Over.
Roger, Dennis, and you're in Virginia Beach. And what was the first part of that call sign? Give me your call sign again slowly phonetically.
Call sign. Give me your call sign again slowly phonetically. Kilo November 4 Delta Delta Delta. Over.
Kilo November 4 Delta Delta Delta. Roger, and you're in Virginia Beach. And Dennis, what radio are you running today?
Beach. And Dennis, what radio are you running today? The Icon 746 Pro and somewhat QRP, about 40 watts into a off-center fed dipole. Over.
Roger that, Roger that. Well, gosh, is that a newer radio or an older radio?
Is that a newer radio or an older radio? It's pretty old. I got it in 2018 when I first got on the air. I got it secondhand from the fellow down in Florida, and it's been working pretty flawlessly. I don't have any complaints with its performance. In fact, my reason for calling this morning is a little bit out of the norm for the VLOG net. Over.
Gosh, repeat the last. You got, I lost you there. Try one more time on the last half of that.
Try one more time on the last half of that.
Roger, I had an inquiry for the Vlog net beyond the usual suppression and equalization things that you address. Over.
Roger, I'll tell you what, I'm getting some QRM myself. If you would, Dennis, why don't you give me about 10 or 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and I'll look around and see if I can find a better path. Roger?
Look around and see if I can find a better path. Roger?
Okay, Roger. About center strip, 30 feet at the center, and the ends trail off one level flat top to the corner of my house and the other to a convenient tree out in the backyard. And my shack is on the second floor, so I've got some good coax running to the ballon there up on top of the pole. Let's see, back to you, KC9VKV from KN4DDD.
Roger, Roger. Well, let's see if you do know about that radio. Can you advise me if you're in that wide transmit bandwidth, transmit band TBW, transmit bandwidth, transmitter bandwidth we recommend is 100 to 2900. Roger.
100 to 2900. Roger.
Roger, I understand it's telling me it is in the wide bandwidth, and I try to keep it down to about 2700 kilohertz, but it may be a little bit wider than that. What are you reading on the SDR? I'm looking at the NA5B SDR, but my signal is pretty light today. Over.
Yes, sir. We recommend 100 to 2900, and that gives you the best performance that transmitter is going to get, with just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. So I suggest getting that TBW on the 100 to 2900 location. Roger?
Location, Roger.
Roger, understood. I just reached down and modified it from wide to mid. I don't know what the parameters are without looking them up, but does that make any difference? It looks a lot neater now on the SDR. Over.
Yes, sir, but what happens when you go into those lesser modes? If you went from a wide to the medium mode, you just lost a lot of top-end audio, a lot of treble power that is so necessary for intelligibility. So I would run that in the highest resolution possible in the 100 to 2900 wide mode. Roger?
To 2900 wide mode. Roger?
Roger, I just changed that back to the wide mode. And another detail I failed to mention is that I am not running my transmitter directly. I am running it through the RC4 remote hams client and server. And so we're subject to the limitations of whatever voice over internet protocol will allow there. Roger?
Oh, Roger. So, but you can change your bandwidth remotely, Roger?
Change your bandwidth remotely, Roger?
That's correct. I can, well, no. I have to reach over to my transmitter itself and change that manually. I cannot control that remotely. I don't have it set up to allow that portion of the transmitter to be controlled remotely. Over.
Yes, sir. I would leave it in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass, because that is the best definition that transmitter is going to be capable of. And in pile up or all that kind of stuff, you need all of the intelligibility that you can. I mean, if you just think about this thing, as far as articulation is concerned, if you were to project a downward resolution in your transmitter, just think about this for a minute. If you were to go to, say, 2200, 100 to 2200, 100 to 1500, 100 to 1K, you're down there into some kind of CW bandpass, and so you need, as a human voice, you need all of the intelligibility you can for articulation. So that's why we suggest the 100 to 2900 wide transmit band width. Roger?
Wide transmit band width, Roger.
Absolutely, I agree 100% on that. You lose the articulation, and you lose the differentiation of sibilants. You can't tell a Sierra from a Foxtrot if you cut things out at 2200. Over.
Exactly, absolutely. Now, so in our normal tune-up setup, we go from just the questionnaire about the TBW to the compressor limiter, compressor processor, and we usually suggest a 3 on that, simply because 3 is the same thing as a 6 as far as actually working on the word, except with a 3 you don't have suck-up between the words, and that suck-up between the words doesn't do anybody any good. So we suggest a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100 on that compressor processor device, 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100 depending on how it's labeled. Roger?
100 depending on how it's labeled. Roger?
Roger, and thank you. I agree with that. I think mine was set at 4 on the compression, so I'll back that down to a 3. But if possible, I'd like to go to another question I had about the fidelity or the reliability of the waterfall displays on SDIs to disclose accurately the presence of whiskers due to nonlinearity and overdriving of an amplifier or a barefoot transmitter. Do you have any thoughts on that? I'm looking at your signal now here on the NA5B, and it is as clean as a whistle, as is our friends over on 7292. But there are times when I've seen some whiskers, and I wonder if that's an artifact due to the limitations of the SDR receiver, or if it's actually that accurately disclose some nonlinearities on the transmitting signal. Over.
Well, there are nonlinearities on the SDR receiver. Most SDR receivers roll out at about 200 cycles, 200 cycles, 250 cycles. They do not go down to like 100 cycles, like say my 7300 here, or 7610, or any of the better radios. So that's one anomaly that I have in mind when I'm checking around here. I always want to try to get back to my local antenna, which is a 7300 on a dipole, to just check out the overall transmit audio curve. I'm also looking at a audio meter as far as the fidelity, the bandwidth there, and so it helps me also. But when I get into a low level situation, I get more noise than I do audio signal, and it doesn't really help. But the next process from where we are would be to go into your ALC and check to be sure you're running 2/3 at least on your ALC meter. So we go to our ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as we say the word audio, you become a human test generator, and you adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 7 or 2/3, whichever comes first. Roger?
Or 2/3, whichever comes first. Roger?
Roger, I understand that process. Let me just try it here. Audio. Yeah, the ALC is actually up around 90%. So let me back off on my audio a little bit here and try it again. Audio. Yes, that's more like about 70%. Over.
Roger. Now, that's all subject to the QRP battle. I mean, sometimes when push comes to shove, my philosophy is do what you need to do to get down the road, and sometimes that audio level may come up a little bit, but I always wanted to not go over, that ALC red line, but very close to it, Roger.
Very close to it, Roger.
Right, I understand that there's a pretty fine line there. Well, I'm talking about a situation where it's so high, where the audio level is so hot, that you run out of the ability of the ALC circuit to compensate for it, and you end up causing problems. I guess some people will call it splatters, where you see a portion of your signal falling both above and below the expected 2.9 kilohertz bandwidth. Like right now, if I were to see some whiskers on 7189 that was in sync with my signal, I would wonder if my radio is not being linear in the RF output. You see my problem and question? Over.
Yes, sir. Well, usually the ALC will take care of that. Let's see how to put this. The ALC is like a fast attack release limiter. The automatic level control is a limiter that is, unlike the compressor processor, this thing is almost instantaneous attack for transient peaks and all kinds of stuff, and it's designed that way to keep you out of trouble from splattering. So most modern day radios have an exceptional ALC circuit as far as being able to attack those nuances that might cause problems, particularly in the upper range. So that being said, though, I do suggest that maybe if you know where your equalizer is, maybe if we tried a couple of clicks of treble boost, I think that would help your articulation, Roger.
That would help your articulation, Roger.
Yes, Dennis, do you still have a copy, sir?
And that goes into my server, my Boham vagaries there out to the internet. It's in the internet handoff that I find is most responsible for limiting my high frequency definition. That's what I see. Over.
I caught part of that. I was looking around for a better connection. Propagation tends to change around, and when I'm monitoring right now 5 SDRs, so I have the ability to move around the country as your signal shifts around. And you're running about, about 50 watts?
You're running about 50 watts?
That's affirmative.
Let me just check something real quick here. Check PASDR.
Let me just check something real quick here. Check PASDR.
Check Kentucky SDR.
Check Kentucky SDR.
There we go. Dennis, are you copying me on an SDR?
Dennis, are you copying me on an SDR?
Roger, I was just curious if you're copying me on an SDR. There seems to be a little latency in our conversation, and I was wondering if you were using an SDR.
I was wondering if you were using an SDR.
Well, an actually copying you on my virtual 746 phone via the remote handle software, but I'm simultaneously copying you visually on the waterfall of the NA5V SDR. I see my signal there is variable, but right now it's peaking about S9. You're usually peaking about S9 plus 5 on the NA5V Virginia SDR. Over.
Roger, and there's a couple other SDRs. My PA SDR is really good, and the Kentucky SDR is good up around Cincinnati. They're pretty strong on my copying my signal, Roger.
Pretty strong on my copying my signal, Roger.
Roger, I'm not familiar with the Kentucky one, but the K3FES in Pennsylvania is pretty good. I like the NA5V just because it seems to be smoother and more visually tuned to what I like to see as far as capabilities go. But I don't want to monopolize your whole Qso-Vlog net today, but thank you for the help and advice. I do appreciate that. KC9VKV from KN4DDD.
Roger, Roger. Let me check my local antenna one more time. Come back and let me listen for you.
KN4DDD. Okay, here is KN4DDD in Virginia Beach on 7188.
Roger, Dennis, I couldn't do any better. I'm still on my Kentucky SDR. It's doing a great job. If you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will bring up this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in the series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Roger, thank you. I'll be happy to look for it, and thank you for all your work. It is valuable for the ham radio community. Thank you.
Roger, Roger. And just remember, as a QRP station, sometimes you have to use that mic gain control on the ALC a little bit more than what you would normally do, because you are facing adverse conditions as far as signal to noise ratio. So you might want to need to add a little more well, let's see here, dynamic range, or a little less dynamic range. Usually when you set up a mic like what we just did there with the and 2/3, that usually brings about an 80 to 85% of modulation index, or 3 dB dynamic range. But like I say, as a QRP station, you might necessarily find yourself in a position of having to go to a 2 dB dynamic range and push that ALC just a little bit to be heard. Roger, Roger.
Just a little bit to be heard. Roger, Roger.
Good, yeah. Working with ability, so try to get the max without going up beyond the guardrail. We don't want to spread it. Okay, KN4DDD.
Yes, sir, roger that. But just think about this as, if you were running a power amplifier at 1500 watts, you would really be, maybe in difficult situations there. But as the power ratio goes down, the effective interference level is reduced also. So I'm not saying go over your ALC. Stay within your max ALC possibilities, but and the other thing is that what is a good practice is to leave your ALC meter out as you're speaking to all of your friends and neighbors around the world, and you don't have anything else to do, so you're looking at this ALC meter as you're speaking, and it's got that sweet spot at 2/3, and what you want to do is concentrate, and it's kind of like a game of concentrating on trying to keep that meter on the ALC meter in the sweet spot as best you can as you're talking along. And you can just nudge your mic gain control up or down a little bit to more or less try to keep that meter in the sweet spot, along with you doing your talking part. That's just another thought, and we usually suggest maybe a couple of weeks at least of leaving your ALC meter out, so you develop a rapport with that meter, and you know exactly what you're doing, because you can see it on the ALC meter, Roger.
Because you can see it on the AOC meter, Roger.
Yes, I hear what you're saying, and that's sort of like professional training for a radio announcer, trying to keep the voice at a more constant level, and don't let the last syllable in the word get swallowed.
Roger, and it has to do with, in reality, it has to do with the voice tempo, how quick the delivery is, because if you talk like that, the meter is just bouncing. But if you're speaking along at a normal clip, then you can get a real good indication of where 2/3 are on that meter, Roger.
Good indication of where 2/3 are on that meter, Roger.
Yes, that's excellent training, and I do appreciate that. I tend to speak a little bit too quickly, and then when I don't have something to say, I say which is not the best technique either. Over.
Roger. Well, and tempo, it's really strange to think about the dialects and voice cadences across the country, and there is this thing from north to south as far as the tempo of the delivery. It usually is very quick up north, and as it goes down south, it slows down. I don't know whether they're thinking about it more of what they're saying down south, but there is a cadence shift from north to south. Roger?
Cadence shift from north to south, Roger.
Yes, I've seen that too, and that's very true. Well, I'm going to have to leave this particular band and head over to some duties around the house. So thank you very much for your time and attention here on the Vlog Net today. KC9. Like says on the TX button. KN4DDD will be clear.
Roger, Dennis. Good to talk with you, bud. And like I said, if you want to hear that signal, go to YouTube and do a call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. Will take you to this recording. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. 73, sir. And you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And if you get a chance, join us next weekend. We'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Can you say anything else?
I beg your pardon. Do you have a call sign?
I beg your pardon. Do you have a call sign?
There's a man that doesn't have a call sign but has a voice, but may be operating illegally without the call sign.
May be operating illegally without the call sign.
This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Name is Alpha Golf for Radio Yankee.
Call letter search on Yankee, Indian Yankee. Give me that caller again. Call letters again, please.
That call letters again, please. Yeah, good afternoon. It's Alpha Golf 4 Radio Yankee, Gary in Tennessee.
Roger, Gary in Tennessee. And what radio are you running today, Gary?
Roger, Gary in Tennessee. And what radio are you running today, Gary? We're running an old antique TS-850 Kenwood, and just bought a really cheap Behringer microphone that I'm kind of checking out on it there, so appreciate it. AG4RY.
Roger, Gary. Now, that's an older radio, Roger.
Roger, Gary. Now, that's an older radio, Roger. Yeah, it's an antique there, over.
Yes, sir. Probably, what would you say, 20 years?
Yes, sir. Probably, what would you say, 20 years? No, I'd give it a few more than that. I'm going to say early 80s, over.
Yes, sir. Okay, it sounded pretty good. I might go over a couple of things. I'm looking at your audio signal on a VU meter, and it does look around a dB and a half or 2 dB of dynamic range, and so we might want to slow that up just a little bit, but there's a way that we can do that. First thing is on our compressor processor, we would usually want to set that at a 3. That's a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, depending on how it's labeled, Roger.
Depending on how it's labeled, Roger. Yes, sir, and I'm dead stick on the 3 with the processor. You called it, and that's where it's at. Over.
Roger, Roger. Okay, now let's go to the ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, you drag out the front of that word, you become a human test generator, and with that mic gain, adjust your ALC meter to the sweet spot of 2/3 or 7, whichever comes first.
To the sweet spot of 2/3 or 7, whichever comes first. Okay, I'm looking at it here, and audio, and got that accomplished there. We also run the high boost on this radio. That's the only EQ feature that it has, over.
Yes, sir. Well, I think that's close enough. I mean, as far as the audio curve, but I would suggest maybe backing off mic about an inch or two, not very far, but just about an inch or two, and let me listen to you.
Very far, but just about an inch or two, and let me listen to you. Okay, we backed up about 2 inches there, and hello, audio. Still getting pretty good drive there, and we are running low power. We're running about 60 watts, over.
Is there a reason why you would run 60 watts?
Is there a reason why you would run 60 watts? Yes, we're in a situation where I'm not going to run high power there, over.
Oh, roger that. Well, gosh, I'm sorry for it. Normally anymore, even 100 watts of power has its job cut out for it because of certain interferences on the bands. Bad propagation, one, and the other is all the noise that it has to contend with, and other transmitters blow by, and so I do suggest if one can and one has 100 watts, that they should at least do 100 watts, and preferably if everything being equal, 400 watts would be nice to pull out of the closet because, again, the interference levels are pretty drastic these days, particularly on 40 meters. Some days on 40 meters is just absolutely terrible, Roger.
On 40 meters, it's just absolutely terrible, Roger. Oh, and I appreciate your comment there, but absolutely I don't apologize for my signal because I'm in a situation where I won't be running any more than 60 watts, even though my radio is capable of 100 watts, but I'm in a proximity of my antenna that I'm not going to have that exposure, but at any rate there, sounds like you're copying every word I'm saying, over.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm, let's see, I'm on the I'm on the Georgia SDR, and I'm copying you just fine. On the Georgia SDR, you're about 15 over, so I don't have any problems with that. I mean, you have a great signal. I was just pointing out the fact that, whatever. But, and I know that sometimes you have some difficulties that you have to abide by, and but it's good that you found a level that obviously is acceptable under the circumstance, and you're not opening garage doors or turning on outside lights or stuff like that, Roger.
Or turning on outside lights or stuff like that, Roger. Exactly, and like I said, I appreciate your comment, but very glad that I can operate under these conditions. So we are running an indoor antenna. I'm in a condo, and we run low power, and basically nobody else's business what I'm doing here, as long as I don't increase that exposure there, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank goodness for single sideband, which is by and large being indecipherable on regular radios and TVs. As far as what did he say, or where's that coming from, Roger?
As far as what did he say, or where's that coming from, Roger? I understand. Well, thanks for picking me up. What would you get phone is? It's a Behringer XL 8500, and I picked it up online, and it was very cheap. It was like $15 for a broadcast mic. That's just about giving it away. But I heard a couple of operators run them, and I thought they sounded pretty good. So I wanted to try it on this Kenwood, over.
Yes, sir. Now, I have gone to my local antenna, and that it's got a 7300 radio on that, and I'm listening to your the dynamic capabilities of your radio and the audio curve, which really sounds good for that microphone. I would suggest maybe if you have a foam windscreen that you might slip over that mic, and that would be the final grace point for your audio. Would be that foam windscreen. Really takes out any kind of transients or plosives, Roger.
Oh, very good, very good. So you are picking up some of my breath noise, I guess. Over.
I just heard a couple of things now. Is that it? That is a desk mic, Roger?
Okay, good deal. Well, I appreciate you picking me up and giving me the critique there. So I'll turn it back over to you and say 7-3, and hope you have a good day and make lots of people happy with the radio. AG4RY, Gary in Tennessee will be clear.
Roger, Gary, yeah, and any music store would have that in your choice of colors for about $4 or $5, I guess, something like that. Not really expensive, but with a foam windscreen, you can work that mic any way you want. and it'll absolutely take care of 99% of things other than the words that you're speaking. It's just unbelievable how that is a tremendous filter as far as getting rid of sound pressures and stuff that compete with your words. So, if you get a chance, like I say, your local music store or, almost Amazon or almost anywhere, you can get that. 73 there, sir. Gary, and you have a great afternoon, a beautiful weekend. And if you want to hear your audio again, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in the series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So with that, 73 there, Gary, and if you get a chance to join us next Friday, we'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you get a chance, if you have a radio that you want to check out, give me a shot.
Kilo Tango 4 Delta Mike.
Station Delta Mike, come back slowly again with your call sign.
Kilo Tango 4 Delta Mike.
Boy, best signal I've had in a long time, sir. Where are you?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Ah, okay. I'm just across the river. I was wondering, Roger.
Yeah, brand new call sign, brand new.
Okay, seems to have some kind of a problem with your transmit there. It kind of was in and out for just a moment. Come back and why don't you, tell me about your antenna system.
Yeah, we're running an inverted dipole, fan dipole.
Okay, give me a little bit more and let me look around here.
Yeah,
Let me look around here.
Yeah, see, it's up about 35 feet high in the middle, about 10 to 15 feet high on the ends. Got a couple hundred feet of RG213 coax, and how's that there?
Yes, sir. I moved to my Kentucky SDR up around Cincinnati to listen to you, just to make sure I'm not overloading. But I think we have a couple of things that we might be able to help you with. The first is what radio are you running today?
What radio are you running today?
ICOM 7300.
All right, and you're over in Louisville, and let's see here. Hang on just a minute. Oh, yes, what's the name there?
What's the name there?
Name's Doug, D-O-U-G.
Okay, Doug, there's a couple of things. First is, normally, the first thing is we ask about the transmit bandwidth, TBW, on that 7300. It's got 3 options. One of those options is called wide, 100 to 2900, and we suggest you operate that transmitter in that wide mode, 100 to 2900. Roger?
Transmitter in that wide mode, 100 to 2900. Roger?
Roger that, and I was hearing you talking about that with the gentleman earlier, and I went in and looked at the widths, and they were correct, but I'm not sure how you actually select that on the radio. I've not figured that out yet.
Yes, sir. Well, I think you just highlight it, and there you go. And it has 3, and most, some people put the same selection, 100 to 2900, in all 3 selections, so it can't inadvertently find itself into a reduced transmit bandwidth other than 100 to 2900. So think about that, and your book might tell you a little bit more about how to select that or whatever. And you may be in that already, Roger.
And you may be in that already, Roger.
Yeah, roger that. I don't see, anything obvious to change that, but I'm sure it's there. I'm just not sure which one I'm using. But I think that is a good idea. I'll change the settings in all three, and that way if it gets off, it's still correct.
Yes, absolutely. And then past that, we go into our normal setup, and that is in the compressor, processor, and we're looking for about a 3 on that. I think you're hotter than that. It's either that or in your ALC. We'll touch on that later. But right now, on your compressor processor, we want you to set that at a 3. 3 out of 10, Roger.
Set that at a 3. 3 out of 10, Roger.
Roger that. I am looking for the setting. I think it's like on a 5. Give me 1 second.
Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger.
This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, and we're on the air every Friday afternoon, usually between 3:30 and 5, trying to help folks with their transmitters, getting the best signals possible out of their transmitters.
The best signals possible out of their transmitters.
Yeah, Doug, that compression selection is on the multi-button, I believe it is, and you can just select the 3 right there with the multi-button, I believe.
Select the 3 right there with the multi-button, I believe.
Yes, sir, you're correct. Got it. As I suspected, it was a 5, and I turned it down to a 3 there.
Yes, sir. Okay, good. Now we go to our ALC meter with mic gain in hand. And as you say the secret word audio, don't stress it, just say it like any other word in a QSO. Adjust your mic level until your ALC meter is running 2/3, Roger.
Until your ALC meter is running 2/3, Roger.
Roger that. 1 second here.
Looks like you might be hot into your ALC.
Looks like you might be hot into your ALC.
Audio. Audio.
Tell you what, Doug, let's do an experiment. Let's dump the compressor. Dump the compressor and let's see what we got there.
The compressor. Dump the compressor and let's see what we got there.
Audio. Compressor turned all the way down to 0. Audio.
Okay, and what's your showing on your ALC meter? Are you mid-scale to 2/3 on that?
Showing on your ALC meter? Are you mid-scale to 2/3 on that?
Audio. No, we're still towards the top, and occasionally, I guess, goes past the edge a little bit.
Okay, so where is your mic level control sitting? What number? Are you like 50, 40, 30 on your mic level?
Are you like 50, 40, 30 on your mic level?
Okay, pull that down to about 35. Pull that down to about 35, and then put your compressor back in the circuit. Compressor back in the circuit. Mic level control at 35, and let me listen to you.
Circuit. Mic level control at 35, and let me listen to you.
And to be clear, is that speech level or mic level? I was looking at speech level.
This is the one that's on the multi-button. It's got your compressor, it's got your mic level, and I forget all what's on that button. It's a round button, I think.
I forget all what's on that button. It's a round button, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's on 50% for sure. Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. Let's go ahead now and take that compressor off, and I just want to look at your audio with the compressor off and standing audio without any audio. In other words, what suck up does it do when you key without speaking, Roger?
When you key without speaking, Roger?
Okay, and your compressor is off, Roger?
Okay, and your compressor is off, Roger?
Yes, sir. Compressor's off. Mic gain is at 40 now.
That sounds pretty good. It does suck up more than what I would like, but it's a slow suck up. So unless you die on the mic, one would never hear that. And you do sound really good, just like you are now, Roger.
And you do sound really good, just like you are now, Roger.
Roger that. Now, I know there's a gain on the bottom of this. I've got like a SM50 desktop mic. There's a gain on the bottom of that as well. So I think it was, probably like 80% or something. So I had to kind of choose between the two, but never really had anybody to tell me how it sounded.
Yes, sir. Well, the whole idea with that mic then is what you want to do is set your mic level, your internal mic level, at mid-scale, and then go on to your external mic control volume and take it down to where you have a good reading on your ALC meter. What that is doing is making your input level more perfect for that transmitter. In other words, you put your normal mic gain in a middle position, so it's a nominal input level that it wants to see. So you're not overdriving. With an outboard electronic device, you can easily overdrive your mic preamp. Because it wants to see a certain level. So when you put that mic volume control in the middle, it's looking for a nominal input. So you put the mic gain on a 5, your internal mic gain on a 5, and then adjust your preamp level on your external microphone as to the proper level on your ALC, Roger?
As to the proper level on your ALC, Roger?
Roger that. Okay. So Well, you're saying it's sounding pretty good right now. Should I start over and set the mic gain in the radio right back to 50 and then adjust the desktop mic down a little bit?
Well, I would, because, then you would have a little leeway as far as distortion and overdrive, because your nominal input level, so you're not up against the wall, you have some leeway there that you're not going to have distortion. Whereas if you're nominally up against the wall and then you do have some transients, it's going to distort. So I would go back to the point where your internal microphone is on 5. Internal microphone is on 5. Take your preamp out of the circuit. Your compressor out of the circuit, and just put your internal mic level to a 5, and then adjust your outward mic level to where you have a good reading, like 2/3 on your ALC meter.
To where you have a good reading, like 2/3 on your ALC meter.
All right, I made an adjustment there. The radio is back to 50%, and I turned down the gain on the desktop mic, and looks like on the ALC now we're probably 50% most of the time. Sometimes we're bumping up to like 60 to 70%, but most of the time it's like right now it's right about 50%.
All righty, now go ahead and turn your compressor on to a 3. Compression on at a 3.
To a 3. Compression on at a 3.
Okay, that's compression on to a 3.
Okay, and then tell me about the best thing you like about your 7300.
Okay, and then tell me about the best thing you like about your 7300.
I'm going to say, using the CB radio back 20, 30 years ago, I love having the waterfall, being able to see activity on the different bands. And once you learn where the settings are, the layout of the radio is pretty good. So I'm brand new to the radio, so everything I touch is something new. So I really do appreciate your feedback and experience on the subject, helping me get this thing dialed in. It's really great. Can't wait to listen on YouTube and see how it sounds before and after.
Yes, sir. Now I'm on my local antenna, and for all practical purposes, my antenna and your antenna are connected. I mean, you're like about 40 over on my but I don't have, I'm so light in my front end, I can't use my S-meter because, I have reduced RF just to keep things as clean as possible and avoid overload. But you are, like I say, our antennas are just almost together. So I'm looking at your audio curve on a spectrum analyzer, and I'm listening to it on a monitor system that goes down to about 40 cycles. It has a subwoofer that'll take it down to 40 cycles. So I'm seeing and hearing your whole signal. And it seems to me that you're not quite balanced as far as bottom to top. And you have a very simplified EQ situation with your 7300 tone control. So if you could go to your tone control for just a minute, I think we can take care of that real easily.
All right, 1 second there. Let me get back in the menu. Okay, right now the transmit bass is on +2, transmit treble is on +2.
Okay, so we want the treble to go up to, say, +4, treble boost to 4, and your bass to a -2, and let's just see what that does. Roger?
Roger that. Transmit bass -2, transmit treble +4.
Okay, you can come up on your base one click to a -1, rather.
Transmit base, -1. Transmit treble, +4.
Sounds good. Now let's go to back to our ALC. Anytime you make a rather large corrections to your EQ, you need to go back to your ALC and double check that that's at the sweet spot. You may have to boost your level just a little bit. So as you say the word audio, now adjust your mic gain control until your ALC meter is in the sweet spot, 2/3.
Audio. 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 I'm going to say it's pretty good there. It's averaging out, right in that area, 2/3.
Roger. It seems to me to be a little light. What is your mic gain control setting on your radio?
50%.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So just out of curiosity, let's run that up to 75%, and let me listen to you.
%75% mic gain. Audio. 75% mic gain. Audio.
And how does that look on your ALC meter?
It looks good on the meter. Yeah, it looks really good. Probably about 2/3 of the way, maybe 3/4 sometimes.
Okay, it sounds good here, looks good here. So what I would suggest would be to leave your ALC meter out as you're talking to your friends and neighbors around the world, and try to keep that in transmit. Try to keep that ALC meter in the sweet spot of 2/3 by just your voice. You might have to kick your mic gain control around just a little bit to just precisely get it, but it's all a matter of, right now you're kind of timid in your delivery, and so as your tempo of delivery comes up, that meter your ALC meter will tend to stay up in the sweet spot. Roger?
Roger that. Yeah, I have to kind of work it there to keep it up at that level. I just adjusted it up here on the desktop mic. It looks like it's staying closer to 3/4, or maybe still could go up just a little bit whenever I'm talking normal.
Roger. When you speak slowly, it's very hard to set that level. But the best way was use the word audio. Audio. Don't stress it. Just say it like any other word in a QSO, and that's the easiest way to set that level.
All right, here. Audio. Audio. Audio.
And let me hear you now.
Okay, one little adjustment there. Audio. Audio. Audio.
All right, tell me about your antenna system now.
Okay, we have an inverted dipole. It's a fan dipole. So, I believe I get 40 meter, 80 meter, all the way down to 10 meter.
Okay, try coming in on that mic just a little bit, and let me hear you. Just everything the same. Just come in. How far are you off mic now, away from the mic? You're about 5 inches or so?
Well, whenever I was reading off the different bands, I was kind of leaning back and talking a little bit there. Right now, I'm about 4 to 6 inches away from the mic.
Okay, cut that to 2 inches, and let me hear you at 2 inches.
Okay, here we go, 2 inches away from the mic. 2 inches away.
Oh, that's beautiful. Just disregard everything. Just run it just like that. Don't do anything else. Just run it like that. And why don't you tell me something of your choice here for about 10 or 15 seconds, so I have a great recording for you, Roger?
Don't fix it. Roger that. Roger that. Well, I've been spending past 2 to 3 months evenings studying for all the exams. I did the technician and did all 3 of them, and then bought this ICOM 7300 on the recommendation of a friend. Really enjoying it so far, having a great time, and looking forward to meeting more people on the radio. Roger that.
Roger, Doug. Yeah, I would run it just exactly like that. And if you'd like to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, it'll take you to this recording, and it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger that. I do appreciate all your help getting this radio dialed in. KT4DM. I'll be standing by and listening to some others get some assistance. Thank you a bunch.
Okay, yes, N4RBL has been listening to you, and you sound broadcast quality there. Name is Joe Juliet Oscar Echo. The call sign, November 4, Romeo Bravo Lima.
Have you got a fan running in the background?
Who is that speaking?
Well, I don't know if you're talking about me, but I've been listening to you for a couple of minutes here. The name is Joe Juliet Oscar Echo. The call sign, November 4, Romeo Bravo Lima.
Roger, Romeo Bravo Lima. I appreciate your input, sir. I think you are absolutely correct. Doug has got just a beautiful signal. Now, Doug, there's one other thing that you could do that would just be outstanding, and that would be to get yourself a foam windscreen to slip over that microphone. Then you would be perfect. Just get it, you can get it at your local music store or Amazon Prime or somewhere. They're only about $4 or $5. Just slip it over, get it and slip it over that microphone. It cuts down all the transients and pops and all that stuff, and you would be just perfect. Roger?
Roger that. I will get that on order today. Thanks again.
Yes, sir, and your choice of colors. And don't be a stranger, Doug. We're on every Friday from 3:30 till 5. Roger?
Roger that. I'll definitely tune in. A lot to learn, and having a good time doing it. So, thanks. And I'll talk to you next Friday.
Roger, Doug, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Shout. November 2, Bravo Uniform Echo.
I'd like to talk to that gentleman that you just cleared with. He's hitting me here with better than a 20 over S9, so I would like to know his location. I'm located in the Louisville, Kentucky area, and I'm talking on an end-fed 110-foot wire there. Go ahead.
Roger, could be me. Is that who you're referring to?
4DM. Yeah, we're out here in east end of Jefferson County in Fisherville.
Yeah, okay, that's why you hit me hard here. Okay, very good. I'm up here in Goshen, up along the Ohio River, and I too am running a dipole until I can get a stepper up on a 65-foot tower that came down on me. So I'll get out of your way, and I'll stand by and listen. N4RBO. The name is Joe, Juliet Oscar Echo, and I hope to talk to you again another time. Will be QRT.
Thanks, Joe. Look forward to hearing you on the radio. I'll be QRT as well.
And Joe, this is KC9VKV. What's your radio today?
Yeah, what's your radio today?
My radio here is, I just got it back from Yaesu. I was out of the shipped 16 days and shipped this FTDX10 to Yaesu. The on-off switch had a problem. I don't know whether or not it was the on-off switch or the relay that it controls, but it would not shut off when I hit the off button. So I contacted Yaesu and they suggested I send the radio to them, which I did at a cost of $45. But whatever. I'm talking on the FTDX10, and I just got a desk microphone from them as well from ham radio outfit. So I'm talking on the Yaesu desk microphone there, and I'm talking about 3-4 inches from the microphone there. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, Joe. Sounds good. Might need a little more top end. I'm assuming that it is in that transmit bandwidth wide, 100 to 2900. You might just take a quick note on that. You want to be in that wide transmit bandwidth, TBW, 100 to 2900, and everything else sounds good. Does need to maybe have a couple of more clicks of treble EQ on it, though, Roger. So you would go to your equalization and crank in a couple of more clicks of treble boost, Roger.
Clicks of treble boost, Roger.
Yeah, I heard what you said. Didn't comprehend it, though. I'm like the other gentleman. I've been away from amateur radio for some 20-some-odd years, and I had a FT 767 Yaesu that I talked all over the world with, and a KT-34XA antenna at 65 feet. And I have to learn the hobby all over again because of the digital age and so on. So I went ahead and bought this particular radio on a fellow John out at Stepper. He mentioned that it was a good that the top of the line Yaesu has. The top of the line Yaesu has. It has the receiver in it. A partner of mine, when we were into repeaters and so on, he finally got through my thick skull that receiver is the way to go. I have a brand new Meritron 1.2 kilowatt amp on the side here. Have not hooked it up yet, don't know how. I have to get a mentor over here to help me. And but I hope to get back to talking around the world. I'm not a contester. I'm more of a reacteur and somebody that likes to meet people like yourself there. Go ahead.
Roger, Joe. Well, you're just going to have yourself a fantastic time, particularly when you get your power amplifier going there. Oh boy, that radio is just sounding beautiful. I haven't, I'm over across the river from you. I'm over in New Albany, and you're a little noisier than Doug to me, but I can still hear you when I go to my local antenna and to listen just for your audio curve, and it's just beautiful. I wouldn't change anything. That PA amp, when you get that going, you'll just be oh boy, you'll be a killer, Roger.
You'll just be oh boy, you'll be a killer, Roger.
Yeah, copy that. I appreciate that. I've been told since the CB days when I used to run an FT 101 Bravo on the on the CB bands that I had a very good voice for radio, so I've been, not to pat myself many times about the quality of my audio, and the only way you know about how quality of my audio, and the only way you know about how a station is put together and how the operator operates is a voice that you're hearing. And I always hoped that I sounded the best that I could sound. And we could probably talk on Brock's TID radio here. I got that right next to the radio, so mile-wise, we're not too far apart. Like I said, I'm out here in Goshen, back in the woods here, and what Jack and a couple guys came out and helped me get my antenna, my wire antenna. I got a 110-foot end-fed antenna up, and that starts at about 45 feet or so in the air, and then evidently goes down to a tree that I don't even know about, because Jack is the one that had the slingshot, and I guess the fishing line that he was able to get the other end of it up off the ground. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm hoping to get my Roan. I'm sorry, that isn't a Roan. It's a Height. I have a Height aluminum 65-foot tower that came down. It needs some repair, and I hope within the next several months or maybe a year, it may take a year, but my goal is to get it back up. And I had it fed with hard line, 7/8 hard line, and I hope to get it back up with a stepper antenna. So I understand they're the whiz bang of antennas. They tune at the antenna instead of at the radio. So that's what my goal is all about. But the problem is I'm too old to climb anymore at 63. Pardon me. I wish I was 63. At 83, I'm not climbing anymore. There, go ahead.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand that. But your audio is just beautiful. Now, I have a chevron on the right side of my screen that shows where the audio is coming from. My audio is coming from. I'm showing all my SDRs and my 7300. So it's showing all the audio inputs. And I have a 6-position rotary switch that I just can roll around to different SDRs. And right now, I'm on my Kentucky SDR, which is up around Cincinnati. It's on the Kentucky side, up around Cincinnati, and it's doing pretty well. And then I can come down to my 7300, which is a little more noisier, but it's as far as audio characteristics, I'm picking up my 7300 on my local dipole antenna. So the frequency response of the 7300 is down to 100 cycles. I'm in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth, and then I'm going into the audio is coming out of that into my house audio system, which has got a subwoofer in it. So the subwoofer is good for about down to about 40 cycles, 30 cycles or so. So I'm just having a ball listening to your audio, like I say, and you can see where my audio is coming from if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger.
100, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Yeah, okay, real good. I used to have quite a station. I also have this station. I also worked amateur satellite. I don't know how old a gentleman you are, but Glenn Moody, who owned all the fish stores, the Moby Dick stores locally. Unfortunately, Glenn has passed on several years ago, and he was very good friends with Brock, and they were like two peas in a pod, and they got me into satellite radio as well. And I have a 790 UHF VHF satellite radio, which probably I'm not going to use much anymore. I did go ahead and buy an FT 991, I think it was, and I bought it at the local Hamfest, and got screwed over a little bit, and I'm getting that repaired by a good friend. I wish I had his name at the tip of my tongue, but he lives over near I'm having a memory lapse here. Hold on a second till I can figure it out there. Go ahead.
Roger, Joe, I'm familiar with that gentleman, and sorry for his passing, but I know that's out there by UFL. His main antenna, I think, was still out there for a long time. Anyway, it's good to talk to you, sir. We're getting to the point we've got to bail out of here, but your audio is just perfect now. I wouldn't change a thing. Your dynamic range is about 3 dB, which is a nice range as far as condensing the audio. You still have a little life in your modulation. It's not up against the wall like you're, screaming to go to Germany or something. It's nice. You have a little life in there. It's about 3 dB, as far as content, and that means that your average percent of peak modulation is somewhere around 80 to 85%. That sounds good, and your audio curve is just perfect. So I wouldn't do a thing to that radio right now. I mean, it is what it is right now. Perfect. So there you go, Roger.
It is what it is right now. Perfect. So there you go, Roger.
Yeah, okay, real good. I appreciate that, because it came back from Yaesu, took it out of the box, hooked it up to the antenna, and took a brand new microphone, desk microphone, out of the box, and hooked it up to the radio. And the gentleman's name is Greg Gowan, WX8 Victor. Greg is a good friend of mine, and he's in the midst of fixing my radio. He fixed my 767, which is sitting here next to my desk. So other than that, I'll let you go. Thank you much for coming back. I hope to talk to you again, either here or on UHF, which I tend to stay on UHF here. Let me see the frequency, which is 442.5 is where I usually, if I'm on UHF, that's where I'm hanging out. So that being said, 73, and thank you much for the Qso and the good words about my station here. I haven't done much to it. It's in a shambles, but I hope to work on it little by little and get it back to a number one station I had once before. Take care. 73 and 4 RBL.
Okay, and just confirmation, Joe, why don't you come back slowly again phonetically with your call sign?
Joe, Why don't you come back slowly again phonetically with your call sign?
Yeah, okay. Like nobody's for radio's biggest blower. That's N4RBL.
Roger, Roger, RBL. Very good, sir. Yeah. And if you, like I said, if you want to hear that audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, it'll take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. So 73, Joe, and you have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend.
So 73, Joe, and you have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend.
You also, 73, and stay well, stay healthy, and stay happy. N4RBL, bye.
This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Gosh, and it's 5 o'clock, so we got to get out of here. Since 3:30, we've been broadcasting, assisting folks get their transmitters to best possible modes. And if you would participate and would like to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will bring up this recording, and it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3200, and we'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. So with all that being said, let's return this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV Clear.